Okay, so it's 2 o'clock. I'll start in. If you guys come up with any questions, most of you are on mute for a reason so that we don't have an echo, but you're welcome to put your question in the chat if you find that you need to write that down before we get to it. I think it's going to be a small group of us today. There's like 7 or 8 of us at this point. So we'll have plenty of time to be able to open it up and ask specific questions at the end. So first of all, this annual open enrollment is about drug plans or Medicare Advantage plans, if that's what you have, that includes your drug plan. So it is not about Medicare supplements. That's tied to your birthday. Because of what's going on in the Inflation Reduction Act that was passed during the Biden administration and that $22,000 cap on drugs put a whole world of hurt and stink on insurance carriers. Let's just say they don't ever want to sell another drug plan, most of them. Even Anthem Blue Cross pulled out of selling a drug plan. So it has some really good things for those of you on expensive drugs. It has some really bad connotations for everybody else. Medicare in general, though, these are preliminary numbers that are in reports that we can see. They haven't formally announced it yet, but your Medicare Part B premium is $206.50 next year instead of $185. The Part B deductible that some of you pay because you have a Plan G supplement has gone from $257 to $288. And the standard deductible for a drug plan is $615. It was $590 this year. The supplements, again, the medical piece, you should be taking a look at that the month of your birthday. So if your birthday is in February, call me in February. We'll look at the company that you have and the plan and see if it's more cost effective somewhere else. But this is going to be about drug plans and advantage plans that include the drugs. We have until December 7th to make a final decision. So you can either change your plan, one drug plan to another. You can drop your supplement and go to a Medicare Advantage plan, but you can't go from a Medicare Advantage plan to a supplement without answering health questions unless you're one of the people who lost the Aetna plan that left. Or there's other areas besides Santa Cruz County. I just assume most of you are in this area. Aetna was one of the ones that there are no Medicare Advantage plans that work with Dignity Health next year. I can't recommend it enough highly that all that paperwork that you started getting in September from your insurance carriers that said, here's your plan this year and here's what it looks like next year. If you haven't looked at it, go now, look at it. That's part of the picture of what we're going to be talking about. Medicare Advantage plans are the all-in-one plans that are medical and drugs. They're a complete replacement of traditional Medicare, and the drug plans, for those of you who have Medicare supplement, you have a prescription drug plan or PDP. So this is why we're doing this by Zoom. Last year, almost all the carriers dropped the commission structure. And let me just tell you, for $50 a year, it wasn't worth the work anyway, but needed to help you guys. Now it's even less worth the work because I can't get paid at all. So there's only one carrier with one of their plans that actually pays a token amount of money. All the rest are filed at a zero commission. And we are also required by law that we cannot charge any type of marketing or consulting fee when it comes to Medicare as a government program or the plans that go along with that. So kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place, which is why we're doing it this way. Got to teach you guys how to fish. There are plans that went away. If you had an Anthem Blue Cross drug plan this year, you don't have it next year. If you had the Cigna Extra plan, it's been dropped. If you had the WellCare Value plan, Value Plus, it's been dropped. There was a Value Script that was the cheaper plan that still exists. If you had the Cigna Saver plan, you're getting migrated to a plan that's not $20, but $70. And all the Cigna plans will be called HealthSpring. Cigna was smart. They sold off their prescription drug business to one of their subsidiary companies so they can kind of consolidate the losses. Um, there are also some major shifts in premium, like the Aetna Silver Script plan. I think when we first got that plan, it was like $29 with no deductible. Next year, it's $103. So if you had that one and you haven't been paying attention, that's kind of painful. So just know that there are always changes. A lot of people like, I liked my plan, I'll just keep it. You sure? Because it may not look like last year. Or last year to me is this year. I can get confused on that one myself. So Medicare.gov is the government website that you all have access to, where you can do a whole lot of things. We're going to take a look at that. If you haven't already, you need to create a username and password for each of you on that, because you won't have to type in your drugs over and over again. They already know what you take. If you can't find your ID card, you can't remember what plan you're on. That's a common one. You can go in there and look because they know. Trust me, they know more about us than each of us know. You can use the portal as a guest just to do quick research, but if you do, know that as soon as you pop out of it, all that information, you'll have to recreate it if you want to look at it again. Where if you go in and you have your own username and password, you can update and create your own information and save it. So these are the remaining plans. So we do have a zero cost plan. This is the one that used to be Cigna Assurance, and now it's going to be HealthSpring Assurance. It was $1.80 and went down to zero. It has a $615 deductible on all drugs. It's still coming up the best for a lot of people. If you had like one random, uh, low cost generic drug, or you're like me, you don't have any prescriptions, winner, winner, chicken dinner, this one works. The next one is going to be the WellCare Value Script at $5.70. It has this deductible only on the tier 3 brand name drugs and higher. Its generics are copays. So when you see some drugs, almost always that means like the level 1 and 2 drugs that are your really inexpensive meds are going to be without having to meet the deductible. And you can see that the lowest cost plan with zero deductible. Yikes, if you thought you wanted zero deductible, we really want to cough up $172. I don't even pay that for my supplement at 65. So that's just the cheat sheet. By the way, if you guys are scribbling like mad, I can't see you. Whip out your handy cell phones, put it on the camera, take a picture, because we're going to go through this pretty quick. If you want to keep it, that's the easiest way. So we're going to do a little demo about Medicare.gov. So let me go back. Let's go back to the original page. This is Medicare.gov. This is, you'll see the little flag, the official site of the US government. There's all kinds of things on here. If you have not already, go in and create an account. If you already have an account, go in and log in. So in this case, I'm just going to start as if I was brand new and just do some what ifs. So I'm going to go here to find health and drug plans. I'm going to put in a zip code. I want to make sure I'm looking at 2026, not this year's. So I'll go ahead and hit continue. I want to look at prescription drug plans, find a plan. If you have low income subsidy help, you have Medicaid, be sure and pick one of these buttons because it adjusts the price for, all of the things that are there. If not, go down here to I don't get any help. I just threw in a couple of random drugs, right? I added these earlier. So I'm going to say, all right, this one has high cholesterol, little blood pressure pill, and Eliquis. Doctors like to dispense that like water. You pick your drugs. So if you were going to add another drug, let's just say, I don't know, we'll just pick one. Metformin, why not? We'll give them diabetes too. So you'll see there's all kinds of different metformins. If you want just plain old metformin, make sure that that's the one you pick. If you have any of these other types, make sure that you pick that. You know if it'll find me this regular old metformin. Let's pick this one. So this is a combination drug. There's 5 milligrams of something and 500 milligrams of the other. Make sure that you're picking the one that you actually have. How many do you get per month? Or maybe you pick up, 300 every quarter. You can go in here and say 300 every 3 months. So monthly and quarterly, they're really good at doing. Or if it's like a tube of cream, you only pick that up once a year. You can say, I just pick it up once a year, right? You have these different options. So let's add that to this person's list and say that they're done. This is one of the cooler things about this software than the one I use because I can put in up to 5 pharmacies. So I'm going to pick a mail order. I'm going to say, let's show me Walgreens, Horse Snyder's, CVS. I don't know. I can probably go out here and find Costco or something else. Pick a few. Rite Aid is dead. Safeway. Let's throw that. So you'll see them listed here across the bottom. Continue and view plans. So this is going to show, you always have to double check. Okay, I'm looking at drug plans. And if it says HealthSpring, you know you're in 2026. So this plan, zero premium, I don't have to pay anything, but here's what my cost over the course of the month is. I want to make sure I sort the plans by lowest cost of drugs plus premium. I don't really care about the drug cost by itself or the premium by itself. I want to know what combination is the cheapest between the two. So if I look down, I'm looking at this retail pharmacy or mail order pharmacy. So I know the plan is zero. I know the cap is supposed to be 2,100. So this tells me without even looking when it says 2,500, some drug I put in there isn't covered at all. So if you want to view the drugs and your costs, you're going to click on that. Here's those drugs I put in. This is telling me that Safeway and mail order are preferred. The Horse Snyder's and CVS are not. And this type of metformin that I picked isn't covered. So that $1,000 of it is that one drug. So just regular generic metformin without a combination would be super cheap. Eliquis, right? You're seeing what all of these different things are here as far as the real cost by pharmacy. So now I can go down and see what the monthly cost would be. If I was going to use Safeway and I had this set of drugs, January I have to pay $579 to get them all. February $264, and you can see I start to have met the deductible. There was one drug I put in there quarterly, so that's why every 3 months it's a little higher on that one. So you can go in there, put in your drugs, see all of that. I want to do a sample of what you can see if you log in. Maybe I won't do it because sometimes there we go. So here's Edith Bunker, and this is Edith Bunker's record. Um, here's the plan she's on, right? So if I forgot, when did I get my Medicare? What drug plan am I on? What supplement do I have? Medicare already knows, so it's all here. You can check plan summaries of your current plans. If your medical deductible this year was $257, this person's only met $97 worth. So this is, if you don't know where you're at with your deductible, here's the little amount. You can look at open claims that maybe haven't been processed yet. So there's a lot, check your claims. If you want to get those notices that are filling up your mailbox in some cases electronically, you can do that. If you need to pay your Medicare premium, right? So there's all kinds of options of what we want to do here. So let's just say we want to find drug plans. So it starts to look exactly like what we saw as a guest, except this one knows my current plan, or this person's current plan. And so here's their current plan. If they stay on it, what are some extra plans? Do I want to go for extra help? Right? And here's your pharmacies that I had listed for this person. Here's their medications. Do I want to add or edit anything? If that all looks good, I'm going to go to find help, just like I did before. And look at drug plans. So now the plan that comes up to the top is that zero premium plan. And here's how much they're going to be paying for their drugs, because we know the premium part is zero. Here's how much it would be if you use mail order. Totally pays in this scenario to use mail order. Do as you all wish, but I'm just showing you how to save money. And it does have a $615 deductible that I don't really care about because I only have $63 a year worth of drugs for this person. And so here's that plan, but you can go down. The next one down would be the $5 plan. But here, look, it's $752 for even mail order. I'd much rather pay 63. So this is how you decide which one you want. If you see any of these numbers for just the drugs that's more than 2,100, make sure you go over here and view the drugs and your cost. So it's that same thing we saw in the other scenario. This just has this person's specific things. So here's what they would anticipate paying at each of these, or mail order, $15 every quarter. Sign me up, right? So this is how you compare. Let's just say this wasn't the plan, now I wanted the WellCare plan. There's a button on it that says apply. So you can go in there, hit it, say apply, and the application is your name, your address, your date of birth, your Medicare number, and how would you like to pay for it. So I'm pretty positive none of you in there, are where you cannot answer that question. So let me go back to the presentation. And so this is your step-by-step guide, how to create that Medicare.gov. Again, if you're trying to write it down, you're not going to get it all done. Whip out your cell phone and take a picture or do a screenshot or something so that you can keep it. But that's how you go in and you create a username and password that is unique to you, right? And you will see your stuff. There may be drugs in there that you don't take anymore. Uncheck them, right? It just knows you have used Medicare to pay for it. If you have a new drug or something that you've been using, single care or GoodRx or something to pay outside of Medicare, it may not know those because it didn't run through the insurance. So make sure that you do click the button when you're doing that. Yes, I want to see the cost for the drugs. Otherwise, it's only going to show you the premiums. Sure, the zero plan looks good, but if it doesn't cover your specific drugs, not the best plan. So your mission is to go in there and create your account and make sure that you put like levothyroxine. It defaults because of the alphabet to say levothyroxine capsules. They're thousands of dollars. Levothyroxine tablets, if you keep scrolling down, you find your dosage there. It's like pennies. So it really matters if it's tablets, capsules, creams, ointments, a liquid, an injectable. Was it a syringe or a cartridge, right? You have to pay attention to those details.
That screen.
All right. And then again, here's the steps. Make sure if you do get financial help, low income subsidy, that sort of thing, that you're marking that when you do it. So we talked about putting in your zip code. Click on mail order, even if you haven't tried it in the past. For the steady Freddy drugs you get all the time, it's great. It's a lifesaver with my parents, trust me. All right. So this is what you're looking for. Lowest cost annual premium and drugs. I do not care one bit, one versus the other. I want to know the lowest possible total. So I'm going to take a break. Marcia,
Pam, could you go back to that table that you had there with all the questions? with all the things, but I didn't get a chance to
With,
check.
oh, how to do the Medicare.gov,
Yeah,
Yeah,
that one?
just 5 minutes ago that you had all that pros,
You stop me when you see
all
what
those
you,
steps, all those steps.
okay.
Yeah, there
That's
you.
just all the drug plans we have left. 2 years ago, we had 26. This is what's still alive for next year.
Yeah, but the next one was the questions. You had all the questions,
I don't know. What about questions?
or you had a sort of a log, all the things that
That
you
is
just.
how to set up your
Yeah,
Medicare.gov.
yeah,
yeah.
Oops.
yeah. How to set it up. There you
Okay.
go.
Yeah.
Okay,
Take out your phone and take a picture. It's
okay.
my favorite way to take notes. So Marcia asks, mail
Hey,
order works
great.
for regularly taking drugs, but what do you do for an antibiotic? You go to CVS or Safeway or one of those places to get it. So it's your mail order drugs are going to be like that list that we saw where somebody took Eliquis. It's every day for the rest of their life. Metformin, lisinopril, same thing. So my parents, I have their drugs set up on mail order without me doing anything. Once every 3 months, their little pile of drugs comes. I get an email a couple of weeks before they're going to send the drugs, is there anything in here you don't want us to ship? That sort of thing. Maybe there's some drugs that, they've got enough of it. They've slowed down using it or something. I can uncheck it so that that doesn't ship. Um, it's super easy. It was not hard to set up. If you can go on and make a Medicare.gov account, you can certainly go on to Express Scripts or whichever one your plan uses and set that up. They're very, very helpful. They would love your business. And the price of the drugs is an estimate. Everywhere you will see but not read and comprehend that it is estimated, just like groceries. If I go to the store today, I go to this Safeway and I buy milk and bread, and I go to a different Safeway and I buy milk and bread, the chances are the prices are different. If I go buy the same milk and bread at the same store 2 weeks from now, the price might be different. So the drugs are an estimated cost.
So Pam, this is Marcia. So do we not have an insurance coverage for things that are short term that we go to Safeway for?
Yeah,
If we
yeah. So in shopping, I can only put in the things I know, right?
Right,
But if something else comes up, you know that what you told it is not the only drugs they actually will cover. So if you need amoxicillin because you're getting dental work or something, I'm sure that those things are on the formulary. I just can't show you the pricing. But if for mail order, set it up for the things that you're going to take all the time. And
right.
then if you need a one-off, have your dentist, doctor, whoever send it to Safeway, Walgreens, whatever pharmacy you want to pick it up at.
But then will we pay full price at the
No,
pharmacy?
you're going to give them your insurance card. It might be full price if you haven't met the deductible on some of those plans.
Even though we have a mail order, we only
Yeah,
have a mail order?
mail orders for Steady Freddy. They
Oh,
know
I
that not
understand that.
everybody is Steady Freddy.
Right, I understand that. I just wonder if we say we want a mail order only,
Well,
and then,
you might, as far as pricing this, this is a shopping tool. It's nothing more than
okay.
that. It's
Oh,
to
okay.
help you estimate. It's not locking you into only these drugs. It's not locking you into even buying those drugs.
Okay,
It's helping you decide where are those drugs the cheapest, should I need them,
okay, thank you.
right? So that all that information isn't going over to the insurance carrier. What's going over is when you hit the application and say, here's my name, date of birth, my Medicare number. So if some of you have really expensive drugs, and you're going to be over that 2100 and you have a big deductible, there is a cash flow tool that's been added called a prescription payment plan, the triple P. So if let's say you have the HealthSpring Assurance, when you get your card, you would call them up and say, I want to set up the plan. They'll take all your medications down and they'll go, okay, we know you're going to spend 2100, so let's divide that by 12. You, consumer, pay us 1/12 each month. And then when you go pick up your meds at the pharmacy, those meds will not cost you anything. So it's a way of smoothing the road when you see that maybe you're going to be out at the pharmacy $1,000 in January and February, and then your drugs are free the rest of the year. If you want to put it on your credit card and do that, no harm, no foul. But some people really need a way to spread out their cash flow. And that's something that you ask your insurance company for your drug to help you with. All right, so let's look. So a lot of you are on mute. If you have a specific question, you can either put it in the chat or you can unmute now.
Are you on mute? No, you're not. You
I
talk to
can
her.
I can hear a voice. I can't see faces. So tell me who you are and what's your question.
Go ahead, Judy.
Okay, I have a question.
Okay.
Right now, neither one of us are on any drugs and we
Health
haven't,
Spring Assurance all day long. That's what I'm gonna get.
yeah.
That's what I have.
So what was my other question?
What plan do you have right now?
The Cigna.
Cigna Assurance? Then
one
you've got a notice that says if you do nothing, your plan will be now called Health Spring Assurance for 2026, and it's a zero premium. So if you're still on no drugs, hey, congratulations, you're done. You just let that renew.
Oh, right. So
Oh.
so they will automatically put us in.
That's what that letter they
Automatically.
sent you that you didn't read said, yes.
So we don't have
So
to sign
every year
up.
they must send you that annual notice of change.
They did.
Right. And in it, it tells you if you do nothing, here's what your plan will renew and look like next year. So
I
you don't
didn't
need
get,
to do anything. If that's the plan you want to keep, you're finished. They'll send you a new ID card later in the year for January.
okay, because when I just didn't get that part. I thought I had to, that we had
That
to
we had to
sign up
sign
all
up.
over again.
No,
And I actually,
you need to shop every year. You do not need to do a piece of paper necessarily, but you need to shop and know that that was still the best plan for you. So
okay.
in your case, it sounds like it is. So that said, you do not need to do anything to keep it if your plan is active. I do have some notable characters as clients who sign up for something and they swear they have it. They have an ID card, but they always forget to pay their premium. So signing up for it is not the same as I have an active policy, right? But if you've paid for your drugs, you're not canceled, it will automatically renew.
Thank you.
But
Okay,
if you don't
so
have a
what
plan
about,
because you didn't pay for it, it won't automatically renew.
I see. So then we just choose on our own what pharmacy we want to go to.
Yeah,
and
that's always up to you. The plans don't require that you go to any specific pharmacy. But by
Yeah.
looking at that, you could, let's say in the middle of the year, your doctor goes, okay, you need Eliquis. You could either call the insurance carrier and ask what that's going to cost at different pharmacies, or you could go look for yourself, far less painful, to go back into Medicare.gov, pop in that drug, and then look at the different pharmacies with that plan that you have. Which
Mhm.
one's going to be the cheapest?
Yeah,
I see.
good, good.
Now,
So-
I understand that when we sign up for a drug plan, it's set for the year, right? Or not?
The drug plan is set for a year as long as you pay for it.
Yeah.
Again, my notable characters that never remember that part.
So what happens if, because what if our health changes? So far, it's been steady and we
Then when you
haven't.
get a new drug, you call the
Uh-huh.
insurance carrier and ask them what it's going to cost, or you go shop it. It is highly unusual that you'll get a drug that's not on the formulary, but that's this. Did I miss one? No. So there are drugs that require prior authorization. And here's what I don't like about
Oh.
what happens at the pharmacy. The pharmacist, you can imagine these poor saps in January. I would rather work for the IRS during tax season than work in a pharmacy in January. Nobody has their card. Nobody knows what they signed up for. Nobody remembers that they have a deductible. And their life is a living hell telling people no, because nobody remembers anything. So if you go into the pharmacy and the doctor tells you get Eliquis, You're not going to remember maybe that Eliquis was covered, but it's a $600 drug, and I have this deductible. So people are going to leave it at the pharmacy, freak out. They're going to call me, call their insurance company, who reminds them that they have a deductible, then go back to the pharmacy and pick it up. So it's not that it's not covered. If your drug is not typically covered, let's say by that assurance plan, and that is medically necessary, there is no other drug in that category that will work for you. Your doctor can go to bat and try and get an exception that from now to the end of the year, they would cover you, just you, for that because of that situation. There are certain
So
drugs,
how do you, Pam,
types.
how do you know that you're,
When you go to the pharmacy and they tell you it's not covered, call
they
the
don't-
insurance carrier and find out why. All the pharmacist knows is it says pay this much, right? They don't know why. They don't know all 10 of these plans.
so they don't know if you're actually covered or you're just paying a higher
They
price?
know that the computer says pay this much. They can't tell you why. They can tell you maybe you have a deductible, maybe this, maybe that, but they don't know. Your
Mhm.
insurance carrier knows. So whip out that little cell phone, call the number on your ID card and go, hey, I'm at Walgreens and I'm picking up my drug and it costs this. Here's the drug, right? You got to give them all the details, the real name, everything. And they can look it up. They'll tell you what it
Mhm.
is. Or there's a formulary that's online for each of these plans. They send you a link to it and you can look up Eliquis and it'll tell you it's tier 3. It's, subject to authorization or not. Some drugs have a prior authorization like, what's a fun one? Ozempic, any of those things people are taking to lose weight. It'll show you on the formulary that it's covered. But in the fine print where it says pre-authorization, it's only covered for people who have diabetes, certain health complications. It's not because I need to lose 20 pounds. So,
So, one general question,
mhm,
say with the Cigna and it
mhm,
changes to the assurance plan,
mhm.
you still have the same customer service number?
I don't think so. You're going to get a new ID card.
You're gonna get a whole new
Okay.
ID.
Yeah. I haven't seen the
Hey,
new ID
sometime in
card, so I
January.
don't know if it's the same or different, but every year you get a new ID card. And
Okay.
please, for the love of God, when you get a new ID card for 2026, throw out the 2025 one. I can't tell you the number of people who have walked in here, sometimes with a garbage bag filled
Oh,
with cards. Which one of these works?
No.
Save yourself. Out with the old, in with the new. Okay? You will
right.
save yourself so much grief. So
Okay,
much grief.
another question. This might sound like a stupid question, but the 600 on Sigma,
Mhm.
the $615 deductible is a yearly deductible,
Yes,
right?
calendar year.
So you could actually, if you wanted to, break that up into monthly payments
If you had a drug, you're
if we
not
had.
going to pay it. You
You're
have
still
no
gonna pay.
drugs. You're not going to spend a dime.
Okay,
So the deductible is there if you use the plan.
okay.
If you're on no drugs, I'm not paying them $615. Like the case of Edith Bunker that I showed you. Her
Uh-huh.
annual medications are under $100. She's not paying the $615 deductible. She's only paying for the drugs as she accumulates them.
Okay.
If it went past the $600, then it would go into a copay or a share cost with the insurance company.
But if
Okay,
it's a
But
one-time only thing or 2 times or 3 times, so you're not really worried about it, then
ah,
that's,
just
yeah,
because it exists doesn't mean you have to pay it.
yeah.
Picture I go to a Safeway. If I wander for hours and I never put in anything in the cart and I walk out, even though I
Mhm.
could have bought all that stuff, I didn't pay for it, right? Because I didn't buy it. If I
Right.
put it in my cart and I get it, it's going to go toward that $615 as long as it's a drug that's on their formulary,
okay,
Thanks.
right?
Yeah.
And every formulary, every plan has to cover at least 2 drugs in every therapeutic class. They cannot cover less unless there's only one drug that does whatever that is. but there's going to be 2 short-acting insulins, 2 medium, 2 this. There might be more, but at a minimum, every single one of them has to do that. So I have people who are on these $30,000 chemotherapy drugs. They still get the 0 cost plan because they know they're going to pay the $2,100, and then they're done for the year,
Mhm.
which is
Yeah.
why the insurance carriers don't like selling drug plans. When Anthem Blue Cross pulls out of the drug plan market, yeah, no, something's up.
Prices are really, yeah.
That's, it wasn't some little minuscule company that pulled out. One of your largest carriers did.
Hmm.
And they pulled out nationwide, not just here. It's not a us thing. These are nationwide. I don't want to do it.
Mm.
So
Maybe Some
it's,
other people have questions. We've been asking them all.
yeah. So who else has a question?
Hi, this is Pam.
Hi, Pam.
Hi. So the price that they're showing is what we pay each time I pick up that prescription, correct?
It depends on which column you were looking at. So the first section tells you total cost.
Right.
And in the month by month breakdown, it tells you an estimate of
Okay.
what that would look like. Yes.
Because I'm looking at one of my drugs went from 25 to 318.
Mhm. So that, take a look at, was that the plan that still came to the top for you?
Yes.
Bummer.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Um,
So,
and then if I wait, so then I do that twice and then I've met my deductible, but still I
right.
pay. Okay.
Right. And so, and then you can take a look at that whole year. So if you're paying that much, that one drug will probably pretty much hit that 2,100 max next year. Right? Depends on what else you have going.
Right.
And so I see a lot of people where the January and February column, it's ugly, but then you
Mhm.
see nothing but zeros for the rest of the year because
Okay, I'll look at that more close.
take
I
a
just
look
saw
at
that
that
in-
one.
Yeah, I'll take a look at that. Okay.
Okay, cool.
Right. Thanks.
Yeah, you clean up real nice.
Okay.
Compared to, I see her at dog shows, so it's a whole nother venue. All right, any other questions? You're allowed to unmute, and that's the little red microphone with the line on it. If you click on it, it will turn green so that you can talk. Or you can put your questions in the chat if you're shy. Otherwise, this may be a shorter.
Pam, again, I have one more question.
Sure.
Because I just did it, and this only happens like once a year. When I get COVID, they prescribe Paxlovid for me.
Right,
Last year, I paid $0.
right.
This year, I get up to the window and they're like, it's $722.
That's crazy.
It's insane. Are you aware of any one of these that like, are you,
I can't tell you that one would cover it better than the other without going in and putting that.
we'd have to
drug
go
on
in and
the
look at it. That was my next
Yeah,
question.
Yeah,
Okay.
because otherwise I would have no way to tell. For
Right.
some of you guys, if you get, these are scenarios that other people have had. So I'll use the men's erectile dysfunction drugs as one example, or Armour thyroid for the natural version of thyroid for women. Medicare doesn't cover these drugs. They just don't. There's no plan in there that's going to do it. So rather than have it mess up your calculation, if you know that no plan is going to cover it, if that happens to you, I have the Canadian Med Store information. You can see about getting it mailed to you from a Canadian pharmacy. You can look at Single Care, GoodRx for like the ED drugs using GoodRx at Costco. You can get a boatload of those pills for the same amount of money that 6 pills would cost you on your insurance. So sometimes, I know this is hard to accept, insurance ain't the answer.
Yeah.
As an insurance agent, it pains me to tell you that, but insurance sometimes is not the answer. If I'm going to pay for it and it's not covered, I'm going to find some kind of coupon discount way to pay for that. And I'm not going to use it in my calculation. So if you had the generics of Viagra, Cialis in there, you had Armour thyroid, go in and unclick them and then run it and see if it tells you a different plan based on that.
Yeah, this is Will Andrews. I can attest to that because I take Restasis, and
Mhm.
I found I was better off using a GoodRx coupon than using my insurance.
But double check it every year, because if you do choose to do that, and you could have put it on insurance. You got to analyze, okay, if I going to hit that $2,100? If yes, then that Restasis would have been free at some point. So if you already had some other expensive drug that was pushing you to hit that top piece where you're done paying, get the Restasis on the insurance. If that's really the only expensive med you had, use GoodRx. So it's just little tricks that you can learn. But when it comes to dental vision, oh my God, pay cash. I mean, this stuff is such a racket. You guys all ask me about dental insurance. My first words will always be, it sucks. We can start from there. Okay. So there's certain things but you need to know how to shop is really your best defense. And that's what you can do on Medicare.gov. Or now that, let's say the one couple that knows they're on the HealthSpring Assurance. When your information comes, you go into HealthSpring Assurance website, you create your own username and password there. Any questions you want to ask, it's going to be a lot easier to get help or find information on that specific website once you have a plan. This is just how we shop for a plan.
Yeah. Once again, Will Andrews, I don't think they're up and running because I've been,
No, they're not yet because they don't exist yet till
yeah, I've been
January.
trying to log in. They don't even have a login
No,
button.
but when you get your ID card later,
You'll
and you'll
know,
probably
yeah.
get that in like November. By November, they're like, okay, I guess these people are staying with us, so they'll start mailing it all out. But it's free range shopping season until then. So if you signed up for a plan today, they might send you a welcome letter, but not the actual ID card and everything till later in the year, because you can still change your mind 100 times till December 7th. On
Mhm.
December 7th at midnight, what's in there is in there, right? There's no more changing. So now they're going to start sending out, massive amounts of information because they know they got you.
And this is Marcia again.
Uh-huh.
You mentioned GoodRx and also Canadian pharmacies. How do we?
There's a pharmacist he's not a pharmacist, actually. There's a gentleman that I meet at a lot of these Medicare conventions that I go to. And there is a program called the Canadian Med Store. It's actually based out of Florida.
Huh.
And what this guy's story was, his before Obamacare, before 2000, we only got drug plans in Medicare at 2006. So pre-2006, you were on your own to buy your drugs. So his brother came down with leukemia, and they had lived in New York, had, friends, family up there. They now live in Florida. And the friends in New York would just drive across the border, get the drugs, and come back and pay 25% of what stuff cost here in the United States. Living in Florida, that was a bit of a problem, right? It wasn't as convenient. So they set up this Canadian Med Store to be a pharmacy that works with real pharmacies in Canada. They have a whole price list. Your drugs are being shipped from Canada, but you're working with an American company here to get it all set up. It's only good, again, for those steady Freddy drugs, just like mail order, because they're going to ship 3 months worth at a time, with the exception of a few drugs that can't go that way. But there's a whole price list. Sometimes it's like 80% of what we would pay here. Like that Cialis, you can get like 30 pills for $50. Honestly, with GoodRx, I think you can beat that here. Jardiance, $60 for a 30-day supply versus hundreds here if you were meeting the deductible. So there are things that works for. You can reach out with the actual name of the drug or give me the phone number for that Canadian pharmacy. Be happy to get it to you, and you can talk to them. You'll probably end up talking to a chick named Amber. I've met her a number of times. It's a small organization. So
And GoodRx is just online.
GoodRx is a coupon. The evil of why drugs are so screwed up is something called pharmacy benefit managers, PBMs. Your congressman doesn't even know what that word means, but they're the problem. They're the ultimate middleman. They're the ones going out and getting all these drugs and securing these contracts and selling it out to the insurance companies and the pharmacies for, an increase. So they actually own most of the insurance companies. So, you know, if you hear about Optum, United Healthcare is owned by Optum, who is owned by somebody else, right? It's very incestuous. There's really 5 companies in the world that control everything. So, but sadly, most of the rules and things they go for putting Band-Aids on symptoms versus fixing the actual problem. I always said after I got out of the military, I would never once again have a drug or have any job where I sat behind a desk and worked with the government. Somewhere I turned right when I should have turned left, but here I am. When they say I'm from the government and I'm here to help you, I will run screaming out the back door as quickly as possible. So, and it's not one side or the other. They'll both hit you. So no love lost for either side at this moment. So anyway, let me finish this out here. So if you found your plan, if it's the current plan that you're on, let it auto renew, right? If not, hit the enroll button for the plan that's going to work best for you. If you enroll, you get an email back that says, hey, your application's been submitted. Highly suggest you keep that. You know, stick it in a safe part of your email. And then it usually takes about 10 days to get some type of welcome letter confirmation that this is going to happen. You may not get the actual ID card and packet until a little further down the road because we're early in open enrollment. If you are getting priced out of your Medicare supplements are going up double digits, you just found out now you need a $100 drug plan, you're still paying Medicare and that went up. If it's time to consider maybe a Medicare Advantage plan where everything's wrapped in one, no deductible, and they're like $59, $79, feel free to make an appointment and we can talk about those options. I work with all the different programs. It is not my position to tell you, you should get this. But if you tell me this is what I want, I can tell you A, if it exists, and B, if it does. Here's the plan that's most closely aligned with what you're asking about. But know that that's an option this time of year. There's a number of people, especially my older so now I'm the baby in Medicare, right? 65, but some of you are 80, 90, right? So those people are paying $300 and $400 a month for their supplements, where I'm paying like $150. So at some point you hit this place financially that maybe, though I might not have thought I wanted an Advantage plan, might be time to look. All right, does somebody else have a question?
I do.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi.
So I was enrolled with Novo Nordisk PAP program and still am, although I received a notification that Ozempic is no longer covered under that program.
Right.
And so I was wondering, everything else was fine as far as my other drugs that I am required to take. But I'm trying to figure out how can I, because Ozempic is so expensive, what?
If Ozempic is covered by your plan, it's covered with the copays and such of the plan. I happen to know that you probably meet the criteria to get that, but all Ozempic is prior authorization. Your doctor has to say that, you have diabetes, this, that, or the other to get there. So even if the formulary covers it, you still have to get an approval to get it.
Okay, so you're saying even though I'm out of the PAP program, my
You could
particular
use your
coverage may cover
search
it.
it? Did you go in Medicare.gov and look?
Not yet. That's why
That's
I'm
your
here
job.
today to get all the instructions as to how to go about doing this.
Yeah. So we talked about that in the beginning. If you missed it, I'm gonna put this.
I missed the first 10 minutes. I'm sorry.
Okay. That's okay. So what we'll do is we'll take these recordings, we turn them into a YouTube video, and we'll place it where you went on the website to find this meeting and log in.
Right.
If you scroll all the way down, these that we've done are all going to be posted there. So you can rewatch the last 10 minutes and pick that up.
So I still have a chance, and maybe I have
Oh,
a
yeah.
chance at another drug as well that may be more beneficial than Ozempic. I just
You
have
have
to
to ask
research
your
it.
doctor what that might look like and then
Okay.
search for the plan that will help you cover it. Just know
Okay.
that all of the Ozempic, all of those types of drugs, the GLPs, are going to require pre-authorization.
Right. Okay. But the good news is that they still may be covered. That's
Yep.
what I'm looking for. So,
Yep.
okay, that answers my question. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So if
All
I
right.
was in here and I just said, here's a zip code, let's just throw that one in. I don't get any extra help, whatever. Yes, I want to see my drug plans.
This is what they say here.
You see it.
And Ozempic, like there's a pen. Do I get 1 a month, 2 a month, whatever? Make sure you put that here. Add that. I'm done adding drugs. I don't know. We'll just pick some rando pharmacies here to look at. And here we go. So it's saying this plan would be the best. It's only showing a cost of $771. So when I look at the drugs, I happen to pick all 3 preferred pharmacies, but it's like $700 is the real cost. You're going to pay $626 the first month, and then it drops down to $11 a month. But what you can't see in Medicare.gov, which bugs me, is you can't see that this is a pre-authorization drug. The other safety thing that you can do is like, okay, it seems like this one is going to be my best bet. So now you're going to go over to WellCare's website and you're going to go right here, click on their website. They've got all the links in there for you, so you don't have to tap around. So now you can look up drugs. You can do other things here. You can call them. Does this require prior authorization? Right? So you can do all that on their website. Right? So if you didn't have WellCare and that was the only drug you were concerned about, I know it's not for him, but we're just trying to keep it simple here. Then you can go, okay, I'm gonna say I'm looking for a drug plan. I'm in California because they're national. I want to look at 2026, right? Here's their plans. I was looking at this one. You can start putting in, here's their drug search tool. So now I can say, okay, tell me about Ozempic, because I would do anything not to call these insurance carriers. I got to tell you. So I don't know. Let's just say it's this dosage, right? So I'm going to search. Here's information about it. I'm going to click on it. So it tells you what it's for, what status it is. They have quantity limits and prior authorization. So, okay, what gets it authorized, right? So it has to be, there's certain FDA diagnoses and uses for this drug. It's not just for weight loss. So if that's still not enough information for you, now call them, right? It's how you dial down and get all the information that you want. Most of us don't have drugs that require prior authorization. We're on like the senior cocktail, little thing for our cholesterol, little thing for blood pressure, a water pill. Our drugs cost $3 a month. Our shopping is pretty simple. Other people have some very complicated situations, but these are the tools that you use to do it. All right. Any other questions? I don't think I have anything left in the chat. So if you're interested in Medicare Advantage, call, make an appointment. We'll have an individual meeting with you about that to see if that's a fit or not. Otherwise, you guys go out, take a look at your drug plans. If you get every single thing in there and you want to call and just ask me a basic question about it and don't mind giving me the password to get into whatever it is you built, I just can't, there's 1,700 of you. I can't do 1,700 free drug reviews. Most people have been pretty, it's pretty simple to figure out what they want. But if you get into one of these really complicated things, you can give me a buzz on that or send me an email. Probably best, because I think my next appointment is somewhere around November 13th. It's really booked out. We have an entire poop show going with Covered California. So I have more than 2,000 of those people losing their subsidies and stuff. So Medicare's not my only fire to put out. I have multiples. Anything the government touches turned into a hot flaming mess. So my job is to fix the mess. So that's why I have to count on you guys to do this research for the drug plans. I can't spend the whole fourth quarter doing that for zero. So, but I'm here for those one-off kind of questions. All right.
Thank you,
Thank
Pam.
you.
No
Thank you,
problem.
Tia.
Very valuable.
Yeah. Thanks for spending the Sunday, and it could probably take about 2 hours to transfer everything into YouTube and get it put back up, but probably look tomorrow. Journey's better at putting it on the website, frankly, than I am, but it'll be there.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right. Take
Bye-bye.
care, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.